McGuinness puts his heart and soul on the line every time he steps in the ring, and he has one dream, and that is to be the world champion. Bryan Danielson was the man for 15 months as Ring of Honor World Champion. He put on some of the greatest matches ever seen in a pro wrestling ring. He's not afraid to take a cheap shot, but he exemplifies the ROH style. Bryan Danielson is as good as he says he is, but he knows he needs the world title to prove it. These two have a long rivalry, but they have respect. Let's see if we get a handshake. And we do. The code of honor is followed by Bryan Danielson and Nigel McGuinness, and this is a #1 contenders matchup. But these two athletes know each other so well. It could come down to whichever athlete makes the first mistake in a matchup like this. This crowd in Philadelphia is split in terms of who they are cheering for in this particular matchup. Drop toe hold by Dragon. Nigel trying to sit his way out before Dragon can gain the advantage. Both men jockeying for position. With men able to gain that advantage, Nigel makes his way to the ropes. We're going to get a clean break here. Nigel back to his feet. Dragon pushing back on Nigel McGuinness. Todd Sinclair asking for the break. And we do get the clean break from Bryan Danielson. As you said, these men know each other so well. They've squared off on numerous occasions in ROH competition. Back during the time period where Bryan Danielson was world champion and Nigel McGuinness held on to the Pure Championship here in Ring of Honor, a belt that has since been retired. They had a unification match in Liverpool, England at the event Unified, which many called the match of the year. As right now Nigel McGuinness trying to control the head of Bryan Danielson, but he works his way free and has Nigel by the arm. Danielson controlling the wrist of McGuinness. Look at him twisting on that wrist and elbow, really bending it back against the grain. With the pain on the face of Nigel McGuinness. Really bending that arm unnaturally. There's a referee trying to get in perfect position, but McGuinness able to use his legs to work his way free of the hold, now has the head scissors on Danielson, who's trying to bridge up to free himself, and he does with the legs of Nigel tied up.
Tremendous strength in the neck of Bryan Danielson. They're able to bridge out with all the weight of Nigel McGuinness, forcing him down, still able to escape. Now still cranking down on the knees and the ankle of Nigel McGuinness. Knees into the back.
Perhaps looking for the bow and arrow from this position. And across the jaw of McGuinness with the legs still tied up, stretching out the back over the knees, but Nigel right on top. Near fall for McGuinness. Both men ready to go here.
It's a very difficult maneuver to apply to someone who is so much larger than you, and Nigel does have a distinct height advantage on Danielson, and that enables him to escape the hold and get a near fall.
Side headlock applied by Nigel. McGuinness cranking away on it as Danielson backs McGuinness up against the ropes and shoots him off. Shoulder tackle, down goes Dragon.
McGuinness using all of his momentum as he drove the shoulder into the chest of Danielson and forced him down to the canvas. Smartly, Danielson backs into the corner to try and slow the momentum and the pace down. Danielson is an athlete who likes to dictate the pace in his matches. He's not afraid to go 60 minutes if he needs to.
Collar and elbow tie-up. Just jockeying for a position here, as right now it's McGuinness with the side headlock on Danielson once again. Again, Dragon shoots him off the ropes. Tries to sweep the legs of McGuinness, but a shoulder tackle once again. This time Danielson takes out the legs of McGuinness, who's trying to cover up as Danielson trying to strike.
Well, it's a very effective defensive position being used by McGuinness right here. He's got the guard around the hips of Bryan Danielson, blocked those blows as Danielson attempted to throw them, and now closed the gap. But look at Danielson smartly using the fist to just drive it into the cheekbone. Tremendous pain inflicted with that damage, trying to open McGuinness up for a big right hand, but again, McGuinness able to avoid that shot. Tremendous defensive wrestling on display here by Nigel McGuinness.
Trapping the head of Bryan Danielson. He's just waiting, trying to get in a position where he can strike. Greco-Roman knuckle lock, and now Danielson with McGuinness, again grinding those knuckles into the temple and the ear of McGuinness. Trying to strike, but Nigel moves his way out of that position and now has the arm of Bryan Danielson.
The key lock, trying to get into a pinning combination, not something you normally see out of that hold. The key lock is a submission maneuver, but Nigel tried to flip Danielson onto his shoulders and get a pin out of it.
And Bryan Danielson extending the hand, but a slap across the face.
Well, I said he's not afraid to take a shortcut, and he just showed it right there. We got the opening match handshake, but the second one was used just to kind of sucker McGuinness in, and he paid the price for it right there.
Snapmare brings Nigel down to the canvas. Hard kick to the back. Follows up with a knee drop. Danielson getting more aggressive here as he knows that the winner of this matchup will get a world title shot.
Just drove that knee right to the temple, really stunned McGuinness.
Hard kicks to the chest now. But Nigel back to his feet and a slap of his own. Face to face they come. Both men very serious and determined. Another slap from Danielson.
Hard open hand slaps to the ear, definitely affecting the equilibrium of McGuinness. Headstand in the corner. Danielson charges but runs into the feet of McGuinness.
The mule kick from McGuinness. Danielson pays the price as he just came charging.
You see Nigel checking the jaw. Those series of shots to the face, obviously having an effect. But he's looking to take control again of the arm of Danielson. Just drives that shoulder down to the canvas.
Modification of the divorce court right there, focusing on the arm and the shoulder. As now he's putting pressure down on that shoulder of Bryan Danielson, keeping control of the arm. And driving down, a lot of pressure put on the arm and the shoulder from this position, as now fighting for the other arm of the American Dragon. Danielson trying to not allow it, but it's Nigel McGuinness now with the other arm of Danielson and bending it backwards behind the body. Danielson was out for 5 months with an injured shoulder, and this could re-aggravate it right now.
And you saw how quickly Danielson looked to get out of that position. The pain on his face, that shoulder was really bent back against the grain, and now he's got the chin lock while he has the one-leg grapevine. Version of the Japanese stranglehold now as he's pulling back on the arms. McGuinness trying to get to his feet. Back heel trip now by Danielson.
And snaps the back of McGuinness over the knees while still keeping the stranglehold applied. You know, we mentioned the rivalry between these two. For more information on that and the history of Ring of Honor, check ROHWrestling.com. Really pulling back on the stranglehold is Danielson.
Look at McGuinness, his mouth wide open as he's gasping for air here. Very difficult to breathe as he's being pulled back with his own hands, basically, while the knee is placed firmly in the small of his back.
Nigel trying to work his way back to his feet. He does. Trying to free himself from the stranglehold here. Jockeying here. Who's going to get the next maneuver? He turns it around. Short arm lariat connects.
Big impact on that lariat. Danielson feels it and goes right out to the floor to try and buy some time. Deep breath there from Danielson as that move obviously knocked the wind out of him, and McGuinness smartly going out to the floor to follow up.
European uppercut on the floor from Nigel. You know, we've talked about the lariats of McGuinness. They are some of the most lethal maneuvers in his repertoire, particularly that jawbreaker lariat, rebounding off the ropes for extra momentum to deliver the lariat to his opponent.
Shots right to the chest. Already starting to welt up as Bryan Danielson. Red marks on the chest, courtesy of Nigel McGuinness, with a head of steam on the outside. Driving the forearm up into the jaw with the European uppercut.
Danielson feeling the effects in that chair. As McGuinness trying to control the head, but Danielson with a European uppercut of his own, dishing it right back out. Chop right across the chest. Another European uppercut.
Danielson really reached back far for that one. Slamming McGuinness headfirst into the timekeeper table.
And now just putting the boots to McGuinness. Danielson with the chair, just throwing it at Nigel.
Oh, with a shot at the world title on the line. They're going to pull out all the stops, no doubt about it.
And the timekeeper's table right onto the head of McGuinness.
Nigel with a dazed look on his face from the impact of that table. A stern warning for Bryan Danielson from Todd Sinclair out on the floor.
The Bryan Danielson supporters getting behind him here in Philadelphia as Todd Sinclair tells him, bring the action back inside the ring. Another European uppercut here on the floor.
Sorry, Nigel, he's the best.
Nigel hanging onto the guardrail just to keep his balance.
Rebound lariat! Danielson went to send him back inside the ring. Nigel caught himself and was able to connect with the lariat, and that sent Dragon into the front row. Nigel back inside the ring. Danielson still in the crowd, trying to pull himself back up, but Nigel climbing up to the top rope. And Nigel's fans here in Philly getting behind him as he pitches Dragon over the rail and back toward the ring.
Tremendous impact from that dive as Nigel flew from the ring all the way out to the crowd. Danielson still feeling another European. Rocks him against the guardrail. Nigel trying to create some space here. Looking for another head of steam. But Danielson closed the gap. What's he doing? He's telling the fans to move out of the way. Oh, he's going to try and suplex him out.
Nigel McGuinness's back just bent. It folded over the steel barricade. That could have this match in command as he stands on the ring apron.
If he can get McGuinness back into the ring right now, he may have this match won.
Trying to pull Nigel McGuinness. Now he's going to suplex him over the barricade onto the floor.
More damage done to the already injured back of Nigel McGuinness by the best wrestler in the world.
It's what he loves to call himself, but he needs that world title to really be able to credibly say that he is the very best. And if he can win this match, he will get a title shot. Cover, but Nigel able to kick out.
Yeah, but look at the pain on Nigel immediately grabbing at the back. It took everything he had right there just to kick out, asking Danielson for a break for a moment, but Danielson's going to have none of it.
Driving the knee right into that injured back. And yet again, Danielson focusing on that body part. From the other side as well, and raining down with an elbow drop as well.
He's got the crossface locked in.
Trying to do as much damage as possible. Looking to wear down Nigel McGuinness. This is putting a lot of pressure on the back of McGuinness. And changes it up, driving more knees into the spine.
Trying to further soften it up, and again, using that fist. We saw it earlier as he grinded that fist into his ear. Now he's doing it right into the lower back. That's exactly where he hit on the guardrail. And look at the pain of McGuinness.
And forcing the face of Nigel into the canvas. Pressure down from that elbow and the forearm across the back of the neck and the head.
And reminding the official that he has until 5 to break the hold, and he used every bit of that count before doing so.
And just standing on the side of the face of McGuinness, and that is just giving him more determination to get back to his feet and turn the tide of this match.
And Danielson not afraid to break the rules.
Raining down across the face, perhaps across the nose of McGuinness with that strike right there.
Very hard clubbing blow to the bridge of the nose, bending him back in position again. And one more time, driving the forearm right into the nose of Nigel McGuinness. You know, when you get hit in the nose like that, it makes it very difficult to see. The water starts to flow. It makes it hard to breathe. It could break your nose very easily with a maneuver like that.
Again, just standing on the side of the face of McGuinness.
You see Nigel trying to get to his feet and shake the cobwebs here. Todd Sinclair trying to get in between them as Nigel made it to the corner.
Forearm strike from Nigel. European uppercut in retaliation from the American Dragon. Pulling him out of the corner now, twisting that neck and that head. And a headbutt delivered by Dragon.
Right on the jaw.
Kicking away at the side of the head. Very confident and cocky is Bryan Danielson at this point. Another slap right across the face. And again.
But McGuinness looks to be taking this all in stride, not going down. He's asking for more.
This is just firing him up. Asking for more. European blocked. But connects with the lariat.
But still worn down the back, still causing him problems. Can't go for the cover.
What a great atmosphere here in Philadelphia. They're driving Nigel to keep the fight coming to Bryan Danielson. Combination of thrusts to the throat and European uppercuts. Combination in the corner. All the way across the ring comes McGuinness. Head of steam and another European uppercut.
Well, that definitely wobbled the legs of Danielson. You see him shaking the head and immediately clutching his jaw.
McGuinness with Danielson, Irish whip. Danielson, backflip, lands on his feet. Duck of the clothesline, super kick, glancing blow. But the lariat takes him down. Cover! Only two. He just chops you down with those lariats. Nigel McGuinness with such great force. A man can only take so many of those before he stays down for the 1-2-3.
Reversal by Danielson. McGuinness hits the corner. Dragon charges, but McGuinness able to avoid it. Kick to the back, and a shot to the chest sends Danielson down to the canvas.
Both men men feeling the effects of this matchup. Danielson clutching away at his own back.
Danielson smartly trying to get to the opposite side of the ring, away from McGuinness.
And you'll notice that Nigel is also clutching his back after that damage done on the steel barrier outside.
Trying to set him on the top rope. He's having trouble. He can't get Danielson off his feet.
Because of that bad back, and that back is driven into the turnbuckles in the corner there. Danielson charged right into the boot. Back heel kick from the American Dragon. Kick to the side of the head.
Again, another blow right to the ear. Only able to get two. You get hit in the side of the head like that, it completely blows your equilibrium out of whack.
Measures him, European uppercut from Bryan Danielson. Down goes McGuinness, pulling him away from the ropes into the center of the ring. Bryan Danielson now looks like he's ready to finish him off.
Might be time for the diving headbutt.
Nigel McGuinness down on the canvas, dragging to the top rope, but Nigel back to his feet, takes away the balance, looking for the Tower of London.
Dragon fighting him off, forearms to the back of the head.
To the top rope. Sunset flip off the top, but rolls all the way through does Nigel.
For that ankle lock, but he cartwheeled his way out. Up and over, leapfrog caught, hit powerbomb.
Great counter of the leapfrog, caught him out of midair and powerbombed him to the canvas, and now the half crab cinched in by Nigel McGuinness. Referee Todd Sinclair asking if Danielson has had enough.
Look how deep that Nigel was sitting. Danielson trying to crawl his way through. Well, looks like Nigel might be having trouble holding Danielson in position here. The fans in Philadelphia showing how much they appreciate the effort and how much they're enjoying this tremendous athletic contest between two great wrestlers.
Danielson trying to inch his way toward the bottom rope. Will he give it up? No, he's got the bottom rope, and Nigel must release the half crab.
And look at exhaustion on McGuinness as well. You know, just executing that maneuver because of the way you have to squat down took even more toll on the already injured back of McGuinness.
These two men just doing battle with one another for the sake of being granted a world title opportunity here in Ring of Honor. Thrust to the throat by McGuinness, all the way across the ring with momentum, sidestepped by Danielson. This time Danielson counters the headstand into the mule kick in the corner with a drop kick, taking Nigel off his perch.
Another kick to the back. McGuinness hung up in a bad position here. Dragon's following him up on the second. Now all the way up to the top rope.
He's got his balance. Perhaps looking for the belly-to-back superplex. All impact on the back of Nigel McGuinness. Cover! Nigel kicks out. Danielson, though,
looking for the chicken wing. The cross-face chicken wing. That's the move he won the world title with. He's got it locked in.
Sits down with it, wraps the legs around the body. Will Nigel McGuinness tap out or pass out in the cross-face chicken wing?
McGuinness struggling. Todd Sinclair right there, asking him if he wants to give it up, but McGuinness won't do it.
Trying to fight his way out of the hold. Danielson trying to keep it cinched in. Back to his feet once again and drives Danielson into the corner to break the hold. Nigel McGuinness now with Danielson trying to get him up for the Tower of London, but that bad back, he can't get him up.
Still fighting though, he won't quit.
He's got him up. Tower of London.
He's got to cover him.
A last-ditch effort that took all of the energy of Nigel McGuinness to get him up. He hit the Tower of London. Danielson, face and shoulder first into the canvas, but he can't go for the cover. He's so worn down by the action of this match.
Both athletes still on their backs. Todd Sinclair with a double count. McGuinness trying to dig down. The crowd trying to rally both of these athletes to their feet.
Which of these two men will earn a world title shot here in Philadelphia tonight?
Nigel back to his feet first. Forearm shots from the left side. A series of them on Danielson. Danielson almost looks out on his feet.
McGuinness placing him up on the top rope. We say Nigel likes to hit lariats from several positions. This is one of them. Connects with the lariat.
Smartly trying to pull Danielson away from the ropes before the cover. But Danielson able to get the foot on the ropes.
Not quite enough. If he would have pulled him just a few more inches away from the ropes before going for that cover, Nigel could have had this match won.
He was able to trap the free arm and stop him from grabbing the rope, but he couldn't stop the foot.
Danielson so worn down. Nigel on his feet, looking to follow up and pull him back to the center of the ring, but Dragon has hold of the ropes.
Refusing to let go here.
Enziguri upside the head. And that takes Nigel down. Both men really feeling the effects of this battle. Down on the canvas, struggling for breath, struggling to get back to their feet and continue to fight.
This crowd is split in their support for both of these athletes.
Nigel up to a knee. Danielson trying to get up himself. Head to head they come. Face to face. He still has the arms of McGuinness as the blood pours down the head. Elbows! Repeated elbows to the side of the head of McGuinness. Cattle mutilation cinched in by Danielson. Will Nigel tap?
Nigel's out. The headbutts and the elbows put him out. Sacrificing his own head for a shot at the world title.
Bryan Danielson is your winner with cattle mutilation. What an atmosphere here in Philadelphia. What appreciation these fans have for these two athletes that just left it all in the ring for a chance to fight for the world title. Can Bryan Danielson be the one to end Morishima's world title reign? Show you how